throughout my, my journey of trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, essentially I did some nomading, like kind of like your story a little bit, and then ended up in Florida with a lot of my phone's doing a little weird thing. I ended up in Florida with like quite a bit of health issues that were kind of building up over the years. And as
Yeah.
a seemingly pretty healthy person, kind of hit a big roadblock in my life of I just needed to figure some things out without the help of doctors because the doctors weren't really helping me too much. So essentially, I ended up learning a lot of things more holistically and got a lot of success from it. And so now I help people do the same thing through more of an integrative approach of utilizing
Hmm.
things like functional medicine lab testing as well as, you know, finding toxicities within the body, toxic products, toxic environments, and
Hmm.
starting to remove those toxicities as well as replacing the deficiencies within the body. So things like poor nutrition or lifestyle things that can really help you build yourself back up if you're depleted. I mean, not just nutrients, but also things like just having joy and fun in your life and um, things like we're talking about now, getting out of your comfort zone. So
Hmm.
these are all little things that integrate into me as a health practitioner and what I do for myself and what I help others do as well. Mostly, I dealt with digestive issues and respiratory issues growing up, and a lot of
Hmm.
those things have been healed. So I have gained a lot of experience and knowledge in that area. So I mean, that's what I really enjoy helping people get through is chronic digestive and respiratory issues, and that's
Because
kind of
you
how.
had,
What's
and
that?
it's safe to assume that you had such a tough time with that. And like, in the US where I feel like as an immigrant, right? I have a really good perspective of growing up outside the US, outside the West, right? And then coming to the West and in the West, modern medicine is like the holy grail, You have any ailment and modern medicine can cure it. But in your case, modern medicine and all these doctors, right, were unable to heal you. And, sort of a lot of, from what I understand, what you do is, I think, would come under the umbrella of alternative healing that isn't as mainstream. And so, what was it like, sort of, getting out of your comfort zone to explore and understand, this whole side of healing that truly, healed you, and I know we don't want to turn a whole conversation into this, but like in a couple of sentences, for our audience.
Yes. Well, what's coming to me right now, and I never really thought of explaining it this way or saying it this way, but it works out pretty well, is I wasn't in a comfort zone. I was very uncomfortable, and I was looking for comfort, I think. So I had to essentially the getting out of my comfort zone in that situation was to start to not listen to the doctors. It was to go literally on the vast internet where you can hear everything and anything, and you have to have some discernment, and I
Mm,
had to experiment on myself, and I had to. I mean, there's things that are obvious now, but at the time, they weren't so obvious. Like things I was
mm,
eating that, I shouldn't have been eating as much of, if at all. A
yeah.
lot of it was, mental, emotional things that were coming up. And all these things would bounce back and forth with each other. Mental, emotional things would play into, things that I would eat or things that I would react to and play
Mm,
out in other habits of my life. And then those things would then make me feel worse. And it's just kind
Mm.
of like this vicious cycle, I think, that most of us get into and we don't really realize it. And then once you can learn to break that cycle, you can essentially do the same thing, but the opposite way and go in an upward spiral. And you can, do the things that make you feel good. And then your feelings of goodness make you do more things that will keep you feeling good in a very
Amazing. Yeah.